Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be showing us how to make a pencil skirt pattern. So first things first, we're going to get all our measurements ready to start making the skirt. So I've got my waist measurement, which is the circumference of my waist, the smallest part of my waist, and I've got that as 35 inches. And then I've got my hip circumference, which is 44 inches. Then from my waist to my hips, I've got 9 inches. And then for the skirt length, which is how long I want the skirt to be, in my case, I want it to be a 30 inches skirt. And that we've got our measurements, the next thing is the equipment we're going to be needing for this. So I've got my measuring tape, I've got a pencil and eraser in case you need to clean off anything. I've got my marker. I'm going to be using a marker today just so it's clear what I'm doing. I'll start with a pencil first and then I'll reinforce it with a marker. I've got my ruler and last of all, I have got my hip curve. So we're going to get right into it. So first things first, as I'm going to draw a starting line at the top of this paper. So I'll measure 1 inch from the top, 1 inch all the way across on this paper. So I'm drawing the front and the back panel piece at the same time. So next thing we're going to be doing is our waist to hips. So my waist to hips is 9 inches. I would draw that across on the paper as well. So waist to hips is 9 inches. I'll just draw that across. And I would join the lines together. I'm going to use this just so it's clear. Okay, so the next measurement we're going to be taking now is our skirt length. So I did say I want my skirt length to be 30 inches. For the purpose of this video, I'm just going to make it just long enough for you to see. So I'm going to be making this 20 inches, which is my knee length, which is, I just want it to be obvious for you to see, but the actual skirt I'm going to be making with this pattern is going to be 30 inches. Then I'm going to join all of this together. Okay, so now that we've gotten our waistline, waist to hips, and then skirt length. Okay, so we're going to start taking our vertical measurements. I'm going to start on the hip and then work my way up and then down. So my hips would be my hips 44 divided by 2 because we're drawing the front piece and the back piece at the same time. I'm going to be dividing it by 2 rather than dividing it by 4. So my hips is 44 divided by 2 is 22 inches. I'll mark the 22 on here and I'll also mark the 11 inches on here. So this will be my front and this will be my back. So now that I've gotten the 11 inches, I'll mark it all the way down. So 11, 22. I'll also mark that on the waistline, 11 and 22. Now I'm going to draw a straight line to join all of these lines together. And I'll do this one as well. Okay, so I've got my front and my back piece. Now I've gotten the hip measurement. I'm going to get my waist circumference, which is 35 divided by 4 is going to be 8¾ and then I'm going to be adding 1 inch for that. So that's going to be 9¾ which I've marked here already, and then I would join it to this line. So I'll go up 1 inch on here and then I will join it like so. And then for this place, so this is 11 inches. I'll go in, you can go in between 1 or 2 inches on the bottom part of the skirt. So if you want it to be like really skinny, you can go in 2 inches or 1.5 inch or 1 inch. But for mine, I'm going to be going in 1.5 inches. So this is 11 here, so I'm going to make it 9.5, and then I'll connect from here down here. Okay, so this is the front piece. Now I'm going to add the dart. So the measurement I'm going to be using to determine the dart is bust points, and divided by 2. So mine is 9, divided by 2 is 4.5. So this is 4.5 here. The dart in front is about 6 inches long. So I'm going to do 6 inches here, and then I would do half on each side like so, and then I'm going to connect this, draw the dart leg, and then draw the dart leg. Then the last thing I'm going to be doing for this front piece is I'm going to slope this front by 1 inch, and then I'm going to connect it to here. So this is I'm going to cross here because then I know that this line is no longer in use. So when I'm cutting, I'm going to cut it like this. And that's for the front piece. I would put this so I know it's cut on fold, center front. So this is center front and we're cutting it on fold. Now we'll just finish up the back piece now. You know how we got 9.5 and 9.75 on the front, we'll also do that on the back. So starting from this center line, so I'm going to be measuring 9.75 on here, and I'll mark it here. Again, 4.5 inches for the dart. I'm going to mark this here, and then I'm going to get the half of each side. So for my dart, the dart at the back is 4 inches. I'm going to put this here, and then I would connect this dart lines. Okay, the next thing I'll also connect this waist to the hips, and then I'll also do 11 inches. So this is 11 inches. I'm also going by 9.5 inch for the hem. And then I'll connect it like so. And this, we're going to be cutting, this is going to be where the zipper allowance would be. So for the zipper allowance, you can add 1 inch, 1.5 inch, depending on however amount of allowance you want to add for the zipper. But this is the center back, and we're going to be cutting cut 2. So this one we're cutting on fold, this one we're cutting 2. So I'm just going to cut this out now just so you can see what it looks like. This is the cutout pattern. It looks bigger because this is the initial length I did, but I actually wanted a skirt length of 30 inches. So from this line, just take it all the way straight down to however long your skirt needs to be. If it's a maxi skirt, a pencil maxi skirt, from the knee line, always just take it down. So I did 9.5 here, so all the way down here is also 9.5. And same thing I also did for the front piece. Um, from here, 9.5, and here is 9.5, which is a straight line I've just done. So I sloped the front. You can decide to slope your back by 0.5 inch if you want, or you could just leave it that way. So this is how my finished front pattern and back pattern looks like. Very easy to make. I'm going to be making another video where I'm showing you how to cut this on a fabric and actually making a skirt out of this pattern. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content of this video, please like, share, subscribe, click on the bell icon so when I post any upcoming videos you get notified. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comment section and I'll do well to answer. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.